She'll be here in just a second. Okay, so, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the February 9th, 2026 school committee meeting for Hull Public Schools. I want to welcome everyone that is here. Quick reminder, I'm going to call this meeting to order. It feels like a long time since we've done this. Okay, sorry, I'm focused. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order at 6:33. We're just awaiting one school committee member who's walking in just a second, and we will note that Liliana Hedrick is absent today, but is watching us. So, hi, Lily. Quick reminder that this meeting is being video recorded and broadcast. If anyone else is recording this meeting, please identify yourself so that I may make an announcement. Seeing none, we will move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. So please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And the public and the school committee has had an opportunity to preview the agenda. Is there a motion from the school committee to approve said agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you, Eliza. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brendan. All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Unanimous. Excellent. I'm just going to talk slow so you take your time, okay? Is there any input from public on the agenda items? Seeing none, we will move on. Do we have a student representative report this evening? Fantastic. Welcome. I'll pass it off to you.
Hello, my name is Megan Schuler, and I'm the Vice President of the sophomore class. My name is Burgess Sanatoris, and I'm the Secretary of the sophomore class. We are excited to share some fun things happening at the high school. Students have been working hard academically and staying involved in school activities, clubs, and sports. Last week we had a very successful parent-teacher conference with lots of appointments booked. The PTO was kind enough to provide an amazing dinner from the Boathouse Bistro for the staff.
We also celebrated School Counselor Appreciation Week. Student government made a big sign in the hallway for the entire school to sign. This Friday, we celebrate Officer Mahoney in honor of SRO Appreciation Day. Stay tuned, we have something fun planned, but can't ruin the surprise. Next week is school vacation week, and then student government will be back together to plan the remaining few months of the school year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. Any questions or comments from the school committee? No? All right.
Awesome. Thank
All
you so
right.
much.
Thank you. And Hull Teachers Association, is there a representative report?
Yep, nothing extensive, just want to repeat that we had parent-teacher conferences last week, and they went really, really well. The 8th grade is always full in my experience. In my 5 years teaching here, we're always jam-packed. But we added some extra slots. We reduced the time very slightly, and that was part of a collaborative process that I think worked really well. So I was really happy to see that happen, and everybody I spoke with had a really good night. Busy, but good. Yep.
Wonderful. Questions, comments? It's always such a great reminder of how wonderfully our parents support our students here.
Yeah, every conversation went the full 8 minutes, and sometimes and then some, and,
Yeah.
and it was constructive, though. You know what I mean? It was great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Love that. Okay, fantastic. Then I think we can move on to approval of the minutes. We're approving the minutes from our January 12th regular meeting, and those were linked in your packet. So is there any discussion before I move for a motion on the January 12th minutes? Nope. Seeing none. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from January 12th, 2026?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Brendan. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thanks, Courtney. All those in favor of approving those meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None. It is unanimous. Fantastic. Okay, with that, then I will pass it off to Dr. Jetty for the superintendent's business items.
Thank you much. Good to see everybody tonight. We did miss our last meeting because of the snowstorm, so it's good to take both agendas and kind of fit everything together here. So scheduled to go last time was Principal Shaw with a focus on the high school. And we're going to turn this over to him to, I think he's bringing forward the folks who were scheduled to be here before, so we appreciate everybody's flexibility with making this happen.
Dr. Jetty, good evening, everyone. I'm happy to join you tonight. Highlight a few events, achievements, classes, and programs at the high school as we continue into and beyond the second half of this school year. In January, we were treated to a winter music concert. All of our students and staff in the 7th grade from Jacobs came on down, and many outside guests packed the auditorium to hear selections from our 8th grade band, our concert band, and modern band classes, all under the direction of Ian Barkin. The following week, we hosted the Tinsel and Talent Winter Showcase, in which over a dozen students and staff displayed their unique talents, all while raising money to offset costs for the Paris and Prague trip in 2027. A couple of weeks later, at the end of the month of January, we used an extended advisory block to dive into some important topics with different combinations of grades. Our 8th and 9th graders attended a workshop with School Resource Officer Mahoney, focused on responsible decision making. Our 10th and 11th graders attended a presentation on the health risks associated with vaping. We were fortunate to have been able to bring in an outside presenter, a South Shore clinician who specializes in adolescent health issues with those 2 grades. Meanwhile, we welcomed representatives from Rockland Trust, who led a workshop with grade 12 students on financial decision making. So looking to refine our use of our advisory time block as much as we can. This winter in athletics, our winter programs are getting closer to the end of their regular seasons. Each of them are holding steady in their respective power rankings as they head into these final weeks. We have some fall season congratulations to catch up on. Libby Harper and Brianna Ramos were named Patriot Ledger First Team All-Scholastics for girls soccer. Gianna Thorne was named to the second team, and Montana Alibrandi and Addison Littlefield received honorable mentions. Libby Harper was also named Boston Herald All-Scholastic and Division V Player of the Year by Eastern Massachusetts Girls Soccer Coaches Association, and head coach Stu Bell was named Boston Globe Division V Coach of the Year. Congratulations to our girls soccer fall program for these wonderful accolades and the strength they continue to show. And congratulations to all of our recognized student athletes and staff. In prior presentations here at School Committee, we have highlighted some of the work going on in our classrooms. We continue that tonight, first by highlighting an extracurricular group that depends on some extensive classroom type practice for the work that they do, and that is mock trial. Here to tell us more about mock trial and its recent activities are students Scarlett Arevalo and Ava Beaumier.
Hello, good evening. I'm Ava Beaumier and this is Scarlett Arevalo. We're both captains of the Hull High School mock trial team. As a team, we act as attorneys and witnesses competing against other schools in a courtroom setting. This year we competed in the Hingham District Court. In mock trial, we assign people their roles of either witnesses or attorneys based on their preferences and performance in practices. Attorneys gather information, evidence from the affidavits provided by Mass Bar. Preparing both opening statements, closing arguments, and direct and cross-examinations of witnesses. Witnesses spend their time memorizing their affidavits, preparing themselves for questioning. And our mock trial coach this year was Mrs. Hutchinson, with our attorney coach, Mr. Maloney, who's a real estate attorney.
Hello. This year, our case was centered around a murder made up by a fake character, Ava Maru, who died from anaphylaxis and cardiac arrest. As a team, we prepared arguments for both defense and prosecution. These cases we receive from Mass Bar are roughly based off of real cases that the state have prosecuted. We had 2 competitions this year. While we didn't win either of them, it was a great experience for our team. Our entire team, besides our captains, were new to mock trial this year, so it was beneficial to introduce this atmosphere to the younger team members and how the trial goes.
So yeah, we gained over 10 new participants this year, ranging from grades 8 to 12. So we both won the verdicts for each trial, even though we lost the overall points. It was still a great experience to get new students into public speaking and seeing what that courtroom atmosphere is really like.
In preparation for next year, we will vote for our new witness captain because our witness captain, who was unfortunately unable to come here today, Kat Davidson, is graduating. And we will also practice on things that our team had struggled with during the courtroom setting, such as objections and so on. The typical season for mock trial ranges from the day we get our case back kit, which is usually late October, up to our last trial, which this year was in February due to the snowstorm.
That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the committee?
Did the experience make you want to study law?
Yes, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's very interesting seeing what a real courtroom is like.
So,
Scarlett, Neva, what grades are students allowed to participate in the mock trials?
We allow any students from any grade in the high school to participate.
Okay. Thank you.
As you two might know, I just have to share. I decided kind of at a last minute to go and watch this competition that happened last week. And it was fantastic. You guys were so good. I left just feeling so proud. I emailed Miss Hutchinson right away and I just said that you especially you two, you guys, your whole team, you did a fantastic job and I was really inspired. It is just, it's so cool to just see what our kids can do. And also, like, I love this because this is someplace where you can feel really successful, and it's not just in a sport, which is not everybody's thing, right? But this was a place for you to have this experience outside of the school and outside of the football field or wherever it is, and it was just fantastic. So I would encourage everyone everyone to join because I was so jealous. I really wish that I could do an adult mock trial, but you guys really were great. And that was I don't know, let's debrief later because that case was just fascinating. And you did, no, I just want to clarify also for our watchers, no, you didn't win, but you won the verdict. Like you successfully defended this potential character. So it was good to watch. So anyway, sorry. Just
Where was it located?
Thank you.
at the Hingham Court.
It was.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's in the courthouse, and they have like an actual lawyer who is the judge, and it's very formal. Like the kids all had to wear their suits, and they came in very professional.
And anybody from the public could have attended, or
Well,
was it
they're
just
only allowed to have
invitation?
3 people watch, and so
Okay.
I had to email Miss Hutchinson and see if anyone else was there, but there
Okay.
wasn't. So it
Okay.
worked out really well. So, thank you. I'm so glad to see you here too.
Thank you.
All right. I think that's all from us then. Thank you.
Well done, Scarlett and Neva, and her name was invoked, but I do need to say thank you to our mock trial advisor, Ms. Hannah Hutchinson of our Social Studies Department, for pulling it together and advising our team. We're going to move on to another update, to turn the spotlight on our boat building class and program. And joining us are our first-year teacher in the program, Matthew Tanner, and from the Hull Life Saving Museum, Executive Director Mike McGurl, to tell us a little bit about what is going on in boat building.
We have some slides. I promise I won't read a whole bunch of text on the slides. I'm going to rifle through them. But the main thrust of what I wanted to talk about is the partnership between the museum and the school system. The boat building thing, in my opinion, has been very successful. It's been a great program. And we've also done a couple other things, some rowing and things. And I would love the overall school, everybody involved, to think about what are some of the other opportunities, because I think there are many opportunities where we could work together for the benefit of the students and the town. So there's a picture of Joshua James and his crew, and our little saying here of saving lives then and changing lives now is kind of what we're all about. We don't go out saving lives on the water anymore, but we're trying to do a lot of programming at the museum and at the boathouse and out on the water to help everyone improve their lives. Now if I can figure out. Trying to get the. Yeah, it's should be going right there. So, tying in with what we're doing here is we have this boathouse that technically belongs to the town, but we have a long-term lease for it. And before we started renovating it, this is the 7th and 8th grade group from the Inley School. And they've done a lot of rowing with us, but completely jammed in between a lot of mess in the town, in the building. So that was halfway through the demolition. We've gutted this thing right down to the studs. The outside we had to meet historical requirements for the siding, the doors, the windows, and everything, so it's all brand new. Yeah, I just can't see it. Just gonna go through this quick. So this is a picture of that same space today. So it's about 27 feet by 60 feet, all open. The entire inside, all the paneling's been redone, everything. We're waiting for the company to come in and do sanding the floors and refinishing them. But the point of me going through this is that there are huge opportunities for us to use this for boat building and repair, presentations, seminars, anything you can think of in a space that big can be done. Another view of the same space. So for 40 years, there was no bathroom in that building. So we've got 3 brand new bathrooms. They look beautiful. There's one ADA bathroom and 2 others. That allows us to get to 100 people in the building at one time without, if we go beyond that, we have to have a fire detail, that's all. Can do it. This is the boat building shop. It's a different space over there. So if we do programs with the school officially, that'll be done there. But right now I'm running for just a few students from Hingham and from Hull, Thursday afternoon and Saturday morning boat building. And it kind of ties in with what we're doing in the shop here. A little left. So we have a whole section of a wall that opens up to get the boats in and out from the main space into the wood shop. But we're trying to keep it looking really nice so that we can have more formal events here at the same time. I'm gonna go past that. I'll just view inside the shop. There's one of our Hull students, Leo, who's there pretty much every Saturday morning. Does a great job. I initially thought that I was going to be attracting high school and college age students, but as it turned out, I got a bunch of 7th and 8th graders, and they do a wonderful job. I thought it was going to be a maturity problem, but it hasn't been. It's been a delight. So back here at the shop, one of the things that we did in selecting the boat that's in the lobby as well as the other boats is there are a lot of unique parts and components to the construction so that you can have a vast number of kids working on. You could have 10 or 15 kids working at the same time. We don't have that many students this year, but you can see down in the middle there, Sam's working on the sail for the boat down there. And Tegan's working on, they made oars for the boat this year, and the rudder over there, so we can spread them out and really be very flexible in how many students are involved. Just having trouble seeing the cursor. So there's Manning and, is that Sam? Yeah, working on the boat. So they're working on the boat, but you couldn't put 10 people on the boat, but you can put 2 or 3 on the boat, and oars, sail, rudder, mast, boom, and all that stuff. And that's the same with the boat that we're working on right now, the students are working on. There's a lot of components they can, there's never a lack of things to do. There's JT and Manning working on the boat. That's the boat in the lobby. Hope you saw it on the way in. Just gonna go through this stuff kind of quickly. I'm just going to digress just for a moment. So we are looking for opportunities to work with more students. I hire about 10 students a year. I have one already signed up. Liam is going to be working already this summer, and I have a few other students. So not only is it the boat building and boat repair and things like that, but some of them are working here at the museum proper, running these summer programs.
What are the requirements for the students? What age do they have to be?
Excuse me?
What age do the students have to be?
I'd like them to be 16, just the dealing with small kids. We have always have one lead adult, somebody who's out of college.
Yeah.
And then 16, 17, 18.
And they're helping with the camp programs? Is that
Yes. Yeah, we don't have an official camp, it's a program. As soon as you say camp, there's a lot of requirements that, you know, and to that end, we have, we welcome the parents, come hang out with the kids and participate all they want, so it's, it just shows a little thing. So we have a bunch of students doing all this stuff. I know. I might have to just do it this way. But to do that, it can't hear me, right?
You could take the mic off and bring it with you.
Let me try that. So we have a lot of learning devices in the yard. So this is a block and tackle system. Pulleys, how many pulleys does it increases the mechanical advantage? I'm going to want to go through these quick. Okay, you want it? Yeah. Good, teamwork. By the way, it's been a pleasure working with Matt this year. So I think it's some great teamwork, good chemistry between us and with the students. So again, there's more work we're doing in the side yard, but this is all opportunities. So we have a new flagpole going in with a yard arm. You know, there's a reason why they call this Telegraph Hill over here, the telegraph. So there's ways you can send messages using flags and different types of signals. And it's a great activity for the kids. I'm going to go buy these things here, get back into the boats. So for 2 years, we took the 7th grade out on the water on 4 occasions, and I have a bunch of volunteers that help with that. I'm not sure if that's possible to get back into that, but I would certainly like to do that, especially with the boathouse being done. So all the amenities, keep it all safe. We've been working with, that was Catholic Charities, a Sunset Point camp. We have kids coming from over there too as well. The boat room at the museum can hold about 40 people. And so for a lot of the larger groups who want to use yeah. So here's the boat we're building right now. We have a veterans meeting once a month, the first Friday of the month. And one of the veterans was this gentleman, John Riley. I think probably a lot of you know his father, who was a selectman, was a physical therapist. Can you go back to that one just one second? So he passed away a month or 2 ago. And so his family provided some money for boat building supplies, and we're naming the boat after him, which is fantastic. So here's a bunch of the parts. As I said, when we're building the boats, there's enough stuff to go around, enough projects, so everybody can be doing something. Yeah, go ahead. One thing I really like about this boat building program is that a lot of the subject matter and the different things going on in different classes, we can pull into the boat building. So there's a lot of measuring and math. One little sidebar on this is that all the measurements are in a syntax of feet dash inches dash eighths, and if you want to add a 16th, it's a plus. So they're always converting eighths to 16ths and feet to inches, and it's just a really good mental gymnastics for them to do. Yeah, you can do the next one too. So here they're laying out the sides of the boat. So there's all this measuring. And we tend to let them make minor mistakes, and then we'll go fix them. Not a mistake with a power tool, but we just let them go do it. And they do a really good job at it. What? So we use a lot of epoxy, which is very safe. There's no VOCs in the epoxy. It's one of the reasons why we use that. It doesn't smell. That Grace Naylor from last year, she was probably one of the better students in being able to do the measurements and the checking and everything. You can keep going. So there's the sides of one of the boats. One thing is we look for opportunities for them to use some creativity. So this is the back of the boat, the transom. And so there's a panel that goes over those cutouts. But we said, go ahead and you guys figure out what you want to make the cutout look like. So they picked a heart shape and a diamond shape. So wherever they can use some creativity, we encourage that. And so I can actually see there, she's painting the relief of that diamond shape. So this is a completed boat, not from last year, from the year before, with some of the students. These boats are really coming out beautiful. Good. So this is the boat from last year with the crew that built it. So some of the classes we have 3 or 4 students. In one class we had about 10 or 12 last year. So you can easily split it up.
We're building a boat right now currently. It's going to be integral to this.
Yeah. So this will be the 4th boat of this design. And there's a couple pictures towards the end here that will show you how useful they are for training out in the water. So that's that same boat.
Is that a dory, or what do you call it?
A dory. Yep. So hold on this one for 1 second. So these are all boats the students built. The first year they built this powerboat, which again is just an amazing job that the students did. But then these are some of the dories that they built. Do the next one. I think that's. So what's really nice about, or really effective about these dories is that you can row it by yourself. You can row it by yourself with a passenger. You can row it with 2 rowers, and you can row 2 rowers and a passenger. So any configuration of experienced students or whatever all really works. And this is a really good one. This shows 2 students that really have never been out on the water before. And that's Bob, our president of our board, who's got a lot of experience. So it's great for having somebody who knows what they're doing in the back of the boat teaching the kids. So that's a good illustrative picture. This was last week's Hull Times. The upper left, just to show you some of the other stuff that goes on here. There's an entity called Home Base, which is sponsored by the Red Sox. And they specialize in veterans that have different PTSD issues and alcohol and drug problems. So they help them get through all of that, but then they sponsor activities. And so we've started working with them to get a bunch of these veterans out on the water. And they came out and they had a blast. That's it. So I don't know if you have anything to add, but I think it's a great program, and there's a ton of opportunity to expand into other things. And I'd love to have some of that conversation at some point.
It's a wonderful class. It's a wonderful class. It's a wonderful group of kids. I'm very grateful to be here, and I thank you guys for hiring me. It's super fun to give back, and I've been a boat builder since 1998, and I actually worked with Mike on projects in the past. It's kind of funny. But I like bringing in the artistic sensibility I have because I'm an artist, and I like to kind of push that onto the kids to let them explore that a little more and be creative with what we're doing, not just build it like it is, like get a little creative, have some fun, be loose. And even take it as far as to helping one of the students wanted to build a surfboard. So we're building a custom surfboard in the shop too at the same time. So it's not just boat building, it's trying to explore all of these sculptural things that are very similar and take advantage of the fact that we live in Hull, that's a waterfront community. And it's really nice to do things that are a part of that. So thanks again. And thank you, Mike. It's really fun working with you. And Rob, too.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Tons, I don't know where to start. Who wants to go first?
I have a couple small questions.
So, go ahead.
oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Take it,
Um,
that's
I-
all I'm saying.
I know you've made 4 boats, and I guess what do you do with them? And then where are they stored?
It's a good question. We're actually in the sailboat downstairs in the lobby that we just finished. We plan on raffling it off after the kids get to use it a little bit this springtime. So the objective is to pass it on to somebody who will appreciate it.
And then that money goes back into the program?
Back into the program to fund materials, yep.
Great.
The dories, we specifically picked that design because of what I was highlighting towards the end there. They're a fantastic boat for very experienced rowers doing long distance trips, but also for brand new rowers. Very safe, and that ability to have an experienced person sitting in the back of the boat as a passenger and teaching the students is a huge opportunity. So we have, this is the 4th one of that, and so those are going to belong, in the program.
Those are the really long ones.
Yeah, about 19 feet.
I'm from the mountains, we don't make boats there.
From the bog. We don't make boats there either. Mike, I have rowed for years with you and a lot of the rowers, and I can't say enough good things about the Hull Life Saving Museum and the rowing side of it, honestly. I went down one time, the first time ever, and the guy couldn't understand me, and I couldn't understand him. And then after the first row, he said, "What are you doing next week?" And I said, "You told me not to come because it's a big competition." "Well, you're in the competition, so come here next week." So that's the type of community you're dealing with. When you think about the art of the possible, when you think about like how much, like I haven't been in the boathouse since all those renovations. It looks absolutely sensational. When I used to go out there, that huge boat was there. That's over at Coast Guard. I could tell you a lot more. But what do you think? Like, as you think about the school, the high school, the great program that they have with Matt and Dr. Shaw and what you are doing, how do we kind of amalgamate those two ideas and make something unbelievable out of it?
Well, part of the reason for throwing those slides that weren't directly in the boat building was just to kind of pique the curiosity and get some of the ideas going on how we could do that. We did have the girls basketball team help us with our Halloween event. But like right now, we have the Sea and Sky Art Show. It's amazing art. The Sea and Sky Art Show is amazing. I would love to get students involved with that. In one opportunity this year, it's kind of gone by. We have a professional artist come in to be the juror. We have a different person every year, and they're always a very accomplished artist. So if you could walk around with that person and have them, and they're saying, "Well, I like this one because of the composition. This one has a problem," whatever it is, but you can learn so much about art and any art can be good art, but from evaluating from a juror perspective. So there's all sorts of opportunities, and I'd just like to get the conversations going. For most of what we do, we're not asking anybody else to do a lot of work. We'll take it on. So if I had a few students want to participate in the art show, bring them in. Same thing with the Thursday afternoon, Saturday morning boat building. I just bring them in.
Yeah, I think the Sea and Sky exhibit is a perfect example of how I think we should definitely look at some sort of, I'm imagining like potentially an internship type exchange of students who are interested in studying art or museum, I don't know what the things you major in, but.
Life Saving Museum has hosted a student art show in the past. I actually helped to organize that. So it's certainly, there's precedence there.
We can certainly do that again. We've done, had a veterans art show one year. I don't think, I know that there has not been a student art show since before COVID. And it was before, I started in 2019, so I'm not sure. I know there was a student art show, but we'd love to do that again.
I do think it was moved because there was too much art in your in your building. It was just too much at one.
Took over.
So we now have the boathouse.
Now we have the boathouse, yeah.
Huge, so bring it on.
I'd love to think about, I'm trying to think about what the right form is, because it sounds like there needs to be a good exchange between the schools and the museum, and I guess that is something we leave to you all to think through, but,
There's a lot going on. The elementary school has field trips down to the museum. There's all sorts of things, but I think there's just more opportunity, especially with the boathouse being done and with the improvements we're doing at the museum. There's just a lot of opportunity.
Have you guys, I guess my brain goes to strategy and, you know, what you could do. Has the board at the museum synced up with management at the school to kind of brainstorm what you could do more? Like, I'm thinking grant writing, I'm thinking oceanography, I can't even say the word. I'm thinking, you know, there's boat building courses in college in Maine and other places here in Massachusetts. Like, we could almost be a feeder for some of those courses.
That's entirely correct. There are a lot of opportunities for going beyond high school. In fact, I was at a conference about a year ago, and the Carpenters Union nationally has a lot of money to sponsor carpentry programs at high schools. And what they determined is that most boat building programs complete 4 of the 5 steps necessary to get into the Carpenters Union as an apprentice. So if we made sure we were in alignment with what they're requiring and somebody wanted to go into being a carpenter professionally, they have a huge head start on somebody who gets out of high school and says, gee, I'd like to try carpentry. You know, maybe a 1 or 2 year head start. So those are some of the areas that we should look at. And as I said at the beginning, I'm just looking for opportunities for, you know, where does the discussion go? I don't know, but the opportunities are there.
I have a clarifying question. So is it a specific boat building course, or is it in conjunction with the tech woodshop elective?
It is in conjunction, or it's a continuation of the woodshop course. So it's more of a capstone course.
Okay.
So if you are taking Wood Engineering 1, Wood Engineering 2, your gradual progression would be to go into the boat building program.
Okay.
And that's our goal, is to inspire kids to take that journey if they're into it and want to be creative.
So your boat building students are not the 1st and 2nd year students. They're ones who've had some experience.
They've had some experience, yes. Could a 1st or 2nd year student, an 8th or 9th grader come in? I mean, we would make an exception if there was somebody who really had the interest, and so I'm not against that. And I would certainly like to get some more, you know, female, girls interested in doing it and not just guys. I would like to have a mixed bag of students from all different types to do it, because I think it would really make for a great collaborative environment, so to speak. But the boat building, the people who are in the boat building program are very serious, and they're not your typical kids are scoofing off. They're focused. If anybody's not busy, there is something for them to do.
So tell me that again. So in 8th grade, you can sign up for woodshop, is that correct?
There have been some 8th graders coming into woodshop that typically don't, but I'm all for it if they want to come in.
Okay.
Yep.
But when can they formally sign up for woodshop to go?
Typically the 9th graders come into the woodshop,
Gotcha.
but I have had some 8th graders in there already.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome job.
We'll look forward to an update on that collaboration and expansion of the program.
All right, thank you to our boat building team. I'm going to pause there because the other highlights I have really roll into the program of studies agenda item, which is coming up in just a moment, so I'll hold there in just a second, including a little bit about boat building, but unless there are questions about what we presented in the Focus on High School, I'll hold there.
Nope, just great reminders.
Program of studies.
Yeah, well, just great reminders of, I continue to say loudly, for such a small school, we continue to offer so many different experiences for our students. So thank you for highlighting a couple of those for us and for the audience.
Tonight, mock trial obviously is prevalent in a lot of different high schools. We have a fantastic team, as you saw in action there last week, doing everything after makeup day in court and boat building relatively unique. There are not a lot of programs like this in a lot of different places, so it is unique. and then I'll touch back a little bit about Bow Building. So the program of studies for 26-27, you have a draft of it accompanied by a one-page summary of changes document. As you can see in the summary, just about all of the changes relate to new courses we plan to offer or existing courses getting a slight makeover. The one change that is not in this category is the first one on your summary regarding the competency determination, or CD. We've heard a lot about that this school year. This change simply highlights the language that was revised here by this committee back in December to be sure that that most up-to-date language is in the 26-27 program of studies, and that's what that says. So you have that, there is the first change in your summary of changes. The first course revision is to a math course. We currently are running a course titled Advanced Algebra with Trigonometry, a course for students in grades 11 and 12, which follows Algebra 2 as an alternative to a course in pre-calculus for students who elect that. This revision changes to a course titled Advanced Algebra with Financial Applications instead of Trigonometry to occupy that same spot in the math progression. This is a move made in anticipation of changes we expect are coming at the state level regarding requirements around financial literacy. So this gives us a course which would directly address financial literacy in its content, a math course no less. But also we believe will give us a course that will support a wider range of student needs and interests. Not to say that trigonometry is not top of mind for many high school students, but I think financial applications might be a little bit more. So this course I think gives us something which is a little bit more relevant to what students might do when they leave us here after their senior year. The next course revision is to add a course called Robotics 2. This is for students who are presently in grade 11 and completing our new robotics course, which is running this year. This will give those interested students the opportunity to stay with their studies in robotics if they choose into more advanced topics in the next school year. I'm going to skip past the business courses that are on your summary of changes for just a moment and go to the technology and engineering courses. The revision here is to the titles of the courses to connect them more explicitly to the content of each one, all with the idea of defining a clear pathway that over time could potentially be integrated with robotics and other potential courses in this area. We've also added an honors credit option for the upper grade courses in technology and engineering. Also true, as you see in the next box below, in our art courses, adding an honors option for upper grade art courses. In art, we're also looking to combine two half-year courses called graphic design and creative design into a single full-year course. One of the reasons for that change, putting graphic design and creative design together, two half-year courses into one full-year course, is that we anticipate that students will be able to count this course, graphics and creative design, in what we hope will be our innovation career pathway in business and finance next year. We have begun building that pathway while simultaneously applying for state designation as an innovation career pathway. This started this year with an introduction to business course, which will serve as the foundational course for all advanced work in the business pathway. Pending state designation, which we are hopeful for in just the next few weeks, we plan to offer two more courses in that pathway next year, one called Digital Literacy and Communication, the other Financial Literacy and Economics, both brand new to Hull High School. The course in Financial Literacy and Economics will be our first advanced course in a business pathway and would be that next course that a student takes after Introduction to Business. Digital Literacy and Communication will be available to all students at Hull High School, but would be required of any students choosing to complete the business and finance pathway. Meanwhile, we have procured grant funding to support the design and development of these new courses, including professional development for our teachers, and are pursuing additional grant funding to support the purchase of text, digital platforms, equipment, and other resources. Furthermore, although not directly part of the business innovation career pathway, we have made a related addition to our 8th grade curriculum and 8th grade career explorations elective that we ran for the first time this year, all kind of tied into that same package of business and finance courses. It is exciting to watch the business innovation career pathway begin to take shape, as this will offer a range of engaging, exciting new courses for our students. Many of these will be available for dual enrollment or advanced placement credit. As I have mentioned at prior meetings, in the long term, this pathway is meant to include work-based learning experiences and internships as part of a capstone project. In the year to come, we'll begin to give more shape to that aspect of the program. This work also provides a model for building other innovation career pathways. For example, Our initial work in bringing robotics to Hull High School can be expanded into something encompassing our wood engineering and boat building courses under the umbrella of an Invitation career pathway in advanced manufacturing. We recently have begun looking at the possibilities of pathway of information technology, separate from all of these. Of course, a lot of this is for future years meeting regarding the program of studies. However, I did want to share a vision of where the work we are engaging in now can go over time. But at this time, I'm happy to take questions about the 26-27 revisions you have before you tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Shaw. Yes, Eliza, I saw your hand go.
I'm excited about all of your ideas. I think I've shared that with you before, but I wonder, does this mean a whole bunch of new teacher hires, or will the existing staff sort of find things that are either qualified or interested, or obviously both? How does that?
So the business courses are encompassed by the teacher we have currently teaching business, right?
Okay.
So it's more courses coming under that heading. I don't think it expands that we could look to teachers who are interested outside of that position, who are interested in teaching something like digital literacy.
Okay.
There are other courses to come in future years that we're not ready for yet. If people feel prepared to teach, we could talk to them about that too. But it does not change staffing. It just adds courses to the program that our business teacher is currently teaching.
Awesome. And my other question was, you said these are available to any high school students. When you say that, do you mean 8th grade also? I have trouble understanding, like, when the schools merged, we had the school committee had this commitment that we'd keep the 8th grade separate. And I was not on the school committee at that time, and I've always felt that was a little bit artificial, since they're all in the same building and similar age. So I wonder, like, is it truly all students in this building, or just the high school students in this building?
High school. And the reason for that is the 8th graders are not earning credit towards a high school diploma for the courses they're taking, right? So if we allow, when we do, with exceptions we heard about in woodshop just a moment ago, when the students take courses in 8th grade, they're at the high school level, they're not getting the high school credit that they would get if they waited a year to take the same course, right? So, we're sort of reducing the number of options they might have over the 4 years that they're high school students. So when it comes to Innovation Career Pathways, a state-designated program, that's strictly 9 through 12.
Okay.
We did roll in the Career Explorations course in 8th grade as a way to kind of open that pathway a little bit to 8th grade students, but that course itself is not part of a business and finance pathway.
Please correct me if I'm wrong, but if a student takes a high-level math in 8th grade, that counts on their high school transcript. I think it's Algebra 1. Is that not true?
They are credited for having completed an Algebra 1 course, but it does
No
not
credit.
appear on their high school transcript. The first course that would appear in their high school transcript would be the geometry course that they take as a 9th grader.
I see. Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Question?
Thank you.
I did have a quick question. First of all, this is all very exciting, full support, I think, from me, 100% of the direction that these courses are going in, and I just hear us continuing to expand on what we're offering students, which is fantastic. I did have a question about the advanced algebra with trigonometry revision to advanced algebra with financial applications. Do we anticipate that new title with the new content would be sufficient enough to cover the financial literacy expectations from DESE?
I think so.
You think so?
I think more so, yes.
Okay.
Yep, I think they will roll in enough of the financial literacy is interesting. There is no financial literacy standalone standards, right? They're kind of rolled a little bit into social studies, a little bit into math. This is more on the math side.
Okay.
The math, exactly as it says, math applications as it comes. So I think it will address. The issue is that not every student will necessarily take this course, right? They might be taking pre-calculus. So we will have to do some work to see that our other courses in math are rolling in some financial literacy standards so that all students have access, not just those who take this course.
Yeah. But great to know that kids that do take that course would have
Cover
that.
it.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, thank you. That was my key
Two
question.
questions from me. I'm not sure if one has a comment or not, but I love the direction you're going. What do you foresee as the next tranche of subjects after these new ones? Like, what do you think the 2.0 version of these will be?
I think, business emerged very quickly as the one students last year we're talking about robotics was a bit of a surprise. We put it on there because a few asked for it, and it became a hit with more than just a few. I think information technology, IT, is an interesting area that is one of those I don't even know if the students know they might be interested in that yet, right? So I think us offering, for example, the career explorations course in 8th grade, I'm hoping is opening sort of some thoughts, right? Some ideas that students didn't know they might have had before about various career, and it's from a course like that I'm hoping we find out where those places might be. Advanced manufacturing is an Innovation Career Pathways is a Massachusetts designated program. There's only 5 areas, business and finance being one. I mentioned advanced manufacturing. I could see us rolling in robotics, boat building, and wood engineering into an advanced manufacturing innovation career pathway, a sequence of courses that results in a capstone, our boat building course, which is already there. But we would be bringing in other courses to complement what they're studying in boat building. So I don't know if it could be surveying, it could be computer-aided design, it could be any combination. And meanwhile, I'm seeing intersection here, right? I could see computer-aided design being useful in the business and finance world at the same time as it is in boat building and advanced manufacturing. So I think we're looking at opening up a few different doors here. But kind of following the students' lead on this one. What are their interests? What are their desires? What do they want to learn more about? And starting in that 8th grade career explorations course could be a place we open up some of that dialogue.
Okay, great. And 2 more. So languages, I know we teach Spanish currently. Any other new languages coming down the line?
Right now it's just Spanish. Anybody that's not taking Spanish is taking it online. We would have to look and see. We do not have, and it could be because the only one we're offering in person is Spanish, a large number of students taking something that isn't Spanish. Again, that would I think would be if the demand were there. We explore what the options are. We need qualified teachers to teach it, whatever those languages would be. I think we follow the lead of where the community and students' interests are.
So can I clarify a tighter point on that, just to make sure I understand? So we offer Spanish in person, and if a student wants to take a language other than Spanish, they have full access to those courses of study. They'll just be doing it online
That's right.
during school hours with a teacher like normal, but it's a virtual setting.
That is right.
I just wanted to
I
be
did
really
not know
clear.
that. And how many languages do we offer apart from Spanish, offline?
Through the online, we have students in French, we have Latin, and Mandarin are 3 that come to mind right away. I don't know that we have any. I know there was German last year, so of those 3 or 4 languages in the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong also, but there's also additional coursework that our students are eligible to take during those periods as well. So
That's right.
if they wanted to, I don't know, they want to take a specific coding language, for example, there's those classes, like all sorts of, yeah.
We have coding is a perfect example. Cosmetology is another that popped up in the last year or 2. Psychology is a popular one this year. We're using 2 different platforms, Virtual High School or VHS and Edgenuity, but both of them are reputable programs, and students are doing great work, just sort of filling in things that we may not necessarily be offering in the in-person format.
I said 2 more questions 2 questions ago, but I have 2 more. One is around, AI. Obviously, all the kids are probably better than AI than most people in this room, myself included, and data analytics. I'd love to see something about that in the future. And then last but not least, if you knew people who lectured some of these subjects like IT or AI or data analytics, whatever, would there be a venue for them to come and teach or come and talk to the kids?
Yes,
Or
guest
how would that
speakers,
work?
absolutely. Guest speakers, whether in person or virtual, never a bad thing, right? Providing their expertise. I believe AI, I mentioned the digital literacy and communication course. AI and its ramifications from the student perspective will certainly be a component in that course, right? Ethical, responsible use of artificial intelligence is a unit in that course, we would anticipate. Again, not every student will take the course necessarily, but the access is there. But I agree wholeheartedly, bringing people in who are in the forefront of various fields in virtually, just as well as in person, can be effective for our students.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Anything else?
Can you tell me more about the the DE program, the dual enrollment? Is it currently available in Hull?
It is dual
And-
dual enrollment. We started out small, right? We have an articulation agreement with Quincy College. Identified 3 of our courses at the high school: forensic science honors, calculus honors, and pre-calculus honors that are available for dual enrollment credits. So essentially, students are completing the course for their high school 6 credits for their high school diploma, but if they get a C or better, they also walk out with 3 college credits in that same course area.
They take the class in this building, but they get the credits for Quincy?
That's right.
Okay.
Essentially, because what we went through the process last spring was having our course of those 3 courses vetted by the college side, saying what we're doing is equivalent to the course that they are doing there.
And can you tell me more about the career exploration course? I think that you said the 8th grade are
grade.
doing it. I had a parent approach me recently who said, wouldn't it be great if the high school did some sort of like inventory of your interests? And I think this possibly is exactly what he was hoping to
Yep.
have. So maybe it
I think
is.
it's starting there a little bit. The place where an inventory and interest is really popping up is through what's called MyCap, the MyCap initiative, which is picking up steam here a little bit more in the last year or so. We're doing that essentially with all grades at this point, but particularly in 9th and 10th grade is where you're getting into career inventory and sort of thinking about those kinds of questions and pursuing other parts as well. But MyCap is a DESE initiative. It's been around for a few years now. I believe Hull has had a MyCap initiative before I got here, but we've got a couple of guidance counselors now who are very well versed in the pieces of MyCap or the components of it, and are doing that in our advisory lessons with students. But career explorations is another avenue. I would love to give our business teacher some MyCap training too, so that she's bringing MyCap related lessons similar to what the counselors are doing as well, but into that 8th grade course, just to get conversations going, right? Conversations that students, as I mentioned before, just getting them thinking about things they didn't know they might be thinking about, right? That might be on the horizon that they never considered.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
These are the types of conversations I'd like to have, especially around budget season, like putting a plug in the budget for one of these types of teachers as we move forward or as we look ahead. Right?
Every time I hear you talk, I feel really inspired. I feel like you've come to Hull with a lot of really fresh ideas, and I hope that the staff is receptive to it, and that I can see the progress that's been made with expanding the course offerings, and I'm really excited about all of that.
Thank you. Do you want to go back to school?
It doesn't, but I see the homework my kids bring home, and I'm just glad I'm over that. I don't think they ask nearly as much of us as we do
thank you.
kids today.
So one thing I do think is that you're looking for a vote tonight to approve the program of
This
studies,
program of
correct?
studies, yes.
Yeah,
Oh.
because,
Got it.
and your scheduling process is right after the break, so after next week, the intent is to go into the scheduling process for next year. So having the updated approved program of studies will be important.
Okay, are we ready to move forward then? All right, is there a motion to approve the program of studies as outlined tonight by Dr. Shaw?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Brendan. Is there a second?
Second. Oh, ha.
Second and third.
Eliza.
Now we've all voted.
Eliza and Courtney both seconded it. All those in favor of approval, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? None. Unanimous. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, I like it when we clap after votes.
Right? Yeah, no, that's good.
This is good.
So thank you
encouraging.
to Principal Shaw for highlighting everything going on at the high school. That's always helpful for us to hear.
Thank you.
Diane, as you're walking up, maybe I don't know, yeah? As you're walking up, is it okay if I sort of frame this next section? Perfect. Let's make this segue where our next topic, well, you started. What were you gonna say? I don't know what you were gonna say, but then I'm gonna add something to it.
I was gonna say, and now we're gonna move on to the budget presentation, so.
Perfect.
So
Perfect segue.
Diane's gonna go to the podium to do the presentation for you. The committee has the full budget that was presented to you, and because this got postponed, so we wanted to make sure that we kept our momentum on this. So we did meet with the budget subcommittee, which was Kyle and Courtney, and we're able to flesh out some questions. So hopefully we can hit those during the presentation to be well ahead of everything. So
Yeah.
as soon as Diane gets it up on the screen. I actually.
Try like running your finger along the, oh, okay. Well, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I just wanna give the committee a quick update. Thank you for taking the opportunity to preview the draft as it was put forward. As Mike was saying, it allowed us to keep the momentum happening. We took all of your questions, and had a specific conversation about each of them. Got some clarification on a lot of them. Happy to, share the notes from that, but I think you're gonna see a lot of that reflected, hopefully everything reflected in the presentation that we're gonna hear from Diane.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
I will tell you, we purchased a device that we thought was gonna streamline this process, and it proved not to work.
It did
So,
not.
so we're back to working our way through the device. So anyway, we're gonna turn it over to Diane for the presentation.
Turn it on. Turn it on.
Those who remain flexible don't get bent out of shape, so we're good.
Okay. Good evening. So we began our budget process keeping in mind the focus, the reason why we're here, are the students of the Hull Public Schools. Our mission, the Hull Public Schools provide a challenging and supportive learning environment to encourage all students to reach their greatest potential. We foster the growth of creative, curious, critical thinkers who are equipped to succeed as responsible, compassionate, and productive members of a diverse society. With this mission in mind, we've developed a number of district priorities to ensure the needs of our students are being met. We've grouped them into 5 categories: learning for life, highly skilled personnel, pathways and opportunities, community engagement, and resources for learning. First, learning for life represents the development of creative, curious, critical thinkers prepared to be lifelong learners. This budget reflects the priority for high-quality curriculum, instruction, and student supports that promote academic success and social-emotional growth for all students. We are committed to using individual student data to guide instruction and ensure timely, targeted supports. We are committed to highly skilled personnel. This budget supports a continued investment in professional development and instructional resources to ensure educators are well equipped to meet diverse student needs, foster inclusive classrooms, and work collaboratively. Another commitment is to pathways and opportunities, which will ensure all students are prepared to become responsible and productive members of a diverse society. We will increase the academic leadership and co-curricular opportunities for students pre-K to 7. We will continue to expand electives, dual enrollment opportunities in the Hull High School Program of Studies to reflect student interest and voice. We are committed to community engagement. This budget reflects a commitment to strengthen partnerships with families, local organizations, and the broader community to enhance learning experiences. We will develop structures that encourage greater student voice and ownership. Finally, we're committed to resources for learning to ensure learning environments that provide the resources necessary for students to succeed. This budget supports a continued investment in technology that prioritizes safe, effective, and seamless learning. We will maintain and strengthen inclusive in-district special education programs and collaborative practices to support all learners. We will ensure strong, aligned curriculum and instruction across all grade levels. And we will continue our investment in building maintenance and improvements to maintain a comfortable and safe learning environment. This is a needs-based budget. You may hear terms such as level service and level funded. A level service budget maintains all the same programs, people, and services. A level service budget usually results in an increase year over year because, as we all know, costs go up. A level funded budget maintains the same dollar amount year over year. A level funded budget usually results in decreases in people, services, and/or supplies, because as expenses go up, you need to make cuts to maintain the same budget. Again, we develop a needs-based budget. We set up priorities and determine the resources we need to provide the students with the experiences that will help them succeed. With a needs-based budget, We look at everything, staffing, resources, services, and supplies to determine if it's working towards our goals or if there is something better to meet our needs. We also consider all funding sources and determine the best way to maximize our use of resources outside of the budget appropriation. This budget request allows the Jacob School to continue its commitment to students and supports the resources necessary to continue important initiatives such as Pirate Time, project-based STEAM lessons that blend technology, art, and science, time to collaboratively analyze data, and an expanded ELA block for literacy. At the high school, this budget request expands our business pathway initiative and begins an early college pathway. It prioritizes time for collaboration on best practices and supports our co-teaching model to support all learners. It also expands opportunities for electives and maintains our boat building program. At the high school, across the district, this budget request supports high-quality curriculum resources and professional development for staff. It prioritizes student voice, ownership, and growth. It allows for maintenance and upkeep of our facilities and meets our contractual obligations related to collective bargaining. This breakdown here summarizes our budget request into 8 budget drivers. Salaries is our biggest driver. It makes up over 78% of our budget request. The next largest driver is non-salary related special education expenses at 5.99%. This includes in-district resources as well as out-of-district tuition and specialized transportation services. The next largest category is regular education transportation at 4.31%. It includes everyday buses, late buses, vocational transportation, as well as foster care and homeless transportation. Following transportation is utilities for each of our school buildings, which represents 3.79% of our budget. As we've seen in our own homes, utilities rates have been increased in the last few years, and we literally need to keep the lights on and the heat on. Next is maintenance expenses at 2.54%. As we said before, we're committed to regular upkeep of our facilities. Following maintenance is instructional supplies, professional development, and vocational tuition at 2%. And finally, we have all other at 1.52% and technology at 1.51%. Technology reflects our commitment to using technology appropriately for learning, as well as ensuring our data is safe and secure. All other is made up of legal expenses, dues, memberships, and athletics. This slide here just shows our breakout of staffing. We are projecting 150.29 FTEs, with 2.14 FTEs being paid from grants and revolving funds, and 148.15 FTEs paid out of the budget request. You've seen this slide before. It's just showing all the different sources of funds we have at our disposal and that we consider when determining our needs and putting our budget request together. 4.59% of our projected needs will be met through revolving funds. 2.79% is projected to be from grant funding, 3.3% from the state circuit breaker reimbursement account, 19.71% from the state Chapter 70 reimbursement, and 69.61% from town resources. This is just a summary of the grant funding we have currently, and we expect next year to look very similar. This is just the dollar and year over year dollar increase and percentage increase for the last 5 years. Again, we're grateful and appreciative of the town's support of the school department. It's evident the town sees the value in investing in education. I'd like to end just with the vision of the Hull Public Schools. The Hull Public Schools, in partnership with our entire community, will nurture a culture of personal success, collaboration, and support. We will develop well-rounded, enthusiastic learners and leaders who think critically and innovatively while mastering the essential skills to advance and contribute positively to our diverse and changing world. Education is truly a partnership and takes commitment and support from the entire community. On behalf of the school department, thank you for your thoughtful consideration of this budget request. question.
Thank you so much.
You're
That was really helpful, and I just want to quickly, before I turn it to the committee for questions and comments, just, I very much appreciate the way that it was framed and grounded in the mission, and I just really appreciated the connection to clear priorities. That was helpful. So, questions and discussion from school committee members. Who wants to start? Elisa, you're looking at me with very big
Nothing.
eyes, like you want to start.
I do have a million questions about the budget, but I don't feel prepared to ask them.
Okay.
Can we go back to the slide with the salaries, like 4 back, I think?
With the staffing?
Yeah, that one. This
Yep.
one. Yeah. I'm just curious, how are we trending year over year? Like, if we were to do a walk from last year's budget to this year's, where has there been an uptick? Where have we created some economies of scale? Where do we need more money, for example?
So for staffing, currently this year going into next year, there is one known retirement that we are not anticipating filling. It's an elementary school 5th grade teacher is retiring, and we will continue to have 3 5th grade teachers, but we think we can redeploy some of our current staff to fill that retirement.
So it's been fairly consistent, and
Yes.
we've been able to, we haven't had any decrease in force or anything, anything like that because of strategically using those retirements, for example, and.
Right.
And in part, it's important that, like, I think it's really important that our community understand as well, and we remind them frequently that even though we consolidated the buildings, we did not close, we did not decrease any staffing. We did not, this was a consolidation of 3 buildings into 2, but the same services and the
Correct.
same classes are still provided to our students. So that means the same staffing requirements. Are any of one of the questions that I know was on people's minds, are there any, you talked about some of the grants that were available or that we're using, that we're pulling from. Is there anything that could, so many districts around us got into a lot of trouble when they started using grants that were sunsetting
Right.
for ongoing costs. Is there anything like that that we should be concerned about, or are we in a position where we have very intentionally not used any of those funds for
Correct. So most of our grant funding, the first 3, the Every Student Succeeds Act, those are what's called an entitlement grant from the federal government. Same with the Individuals with Disabilities, IDEA. Those, the federal government, there was a lot of concern last year about what's going to happen with federal grants. And the good news is we're assured that next year we should see similar numbers. We don't expect major cuts in grant funding for next year. The Innovation Career Pathway Planning and the Early College Planning. So this year we got the planning grant. Next year, hopefully we'll be seeing implementation grants to expand those programs. And then the CFCE grant is actually the Health Family Network, but it just flows through us, and that's been consistent for a number of years. So the good news is things seem fairly stable in the grant. There's not a lot of concern that, that could change any moment, but as of right now, it seems positive.
I think some of it was, there were districts that used the COVID money, so the relief money they put into personnel, and then when those funds dried up, they had to either absorb the personnel or release the personnel. So you hear those stories, but that's something that Hull didn't do. It was before my time, but Hull did not put money into personnel, and that was a wise choice. I saw the same thing in my last district. We used it for buildings and facility-related stuff, but those were one-time solutions that were there forever, versus other districts that did hire personnel. They hired more tutors and all sorts of things, but then they were stuck at the end because the money dried up. So
I would agree. We try to look longer term and know, like, all right, there's this grant, but how are we going to maintain that? Do we have that plan in place? So,
And these grants are sort of entitlement, like we can count on these each year, so.
and there are also 2-year grants for the federal grants are 2-year grants, so that you can kind of save some of the money. You know, you don't spend it all the first year. It's good for the, oh no, this happened, what are we gonna do? It just helps you manage.
Is it use it or lose it?
Yes, but you have 2 years to do it. Believe me, there's plenty of things to
Never
spend.
lose it,
We
yeah.
will never lose it.
Sorry, silly question.
But it's just, you can put off some things like, I don't know what's, like, especially the IDEA grants in particular. You know, some special education costs can be sudden and can be unexpected. So it just gives you a little wiggle room to deal with those unexpected things.
Courtney, is there anything from?
No, I mean, I am part of the budget subcommittee, so I was able to, ask my questions, and I just appreciate, the time and effort that goes into this, and it's a lot, right? You have, $18-19 million, and, the majority of it is already spent, on headcount, so, I think, being in finance myself, I know it takes a lot to kind of finagle and make it work at the end of the year, so. No, I don't have questions, just appreciation.
My sort of summary, obviously, as Courtney said, Courtney and I have had a chance to dive in and spend more time really looking at these things. I think at a very high level, I would invite you to disagree with any of this, or to, however we want to, I just sort of want to get some of these things on the record. When I think about the previous presentation, I hear that our school district is narrowing its priorities, and it's narrowing its vision. Well, maybe not narrowing. It's narrowing in on priorities and being very intentional about how to expand opportunities for students. I feel like what I'm seeing in the budget that gives me optimism is that we have a very solid, secure budget that we can feel, as a school committee, we can feel really good about the fact that we are at once maintaining solvency and really aligning our funding to some of those priorities, to the priorities that you just outlined, that ultimately expand opportunities for kids. And like I say, there's, nationally, you continue in every district, in every state, in every not in every country, but in our country, we see a continued decline in enrollment for reasons such as birth numbers decreasing, there are several reasons that we are all facing that. Hull is no different. We are not facing a decrease in student enrollment that is exceeding any other predicted path or comparisons to a lot of other districts. And that decrease in enrollment means we have to be very intentional with our dollars. Right. And my summary statement might also be a statement of gratitude for the town, who continues to work with us and to support our students and our schools. And I think that is something that is just fantastic, and it puts a lot of pressure on us to make sure that we're being very smart stewards of that money. And I'm excited to say, that I think what we have here, what we're putting forward, is in fact a smart use of limited funds in a way that I think really positions our students to have phenomenal experiences. And again, that's sort of where the school committee steps out, right? Like we look at this, we say, we believe that what you're telling us is these monies will support those programs that you are outlining, or those priorities that you're outlining, and then it's up to you all to decide the programming and to deliver it to students. And so, I don't really know. That was
Well said. Thank you.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
You could have given this presentation. Well done. Thank you.
No, it was a fantastic. So I don't know if there's any other.
I have a we just actually finished budgets in one of my companies I work for today, and it's public schools, I should say. But and the parallels are uncannily similar. It's actually like a deja vu headache I have going on right now. But one of the things that kind of came to the fore for us, our budget was X last year. This year it's Y. We trimmed a bit off it. And one thing we did, and one of my recommendations today actually was, not all requests are similar, and not all requests are similar or are weighted the same. So what we did was, or we're in the I told two people in my team, I said, create a capital budget process whereby we have X for the overall budget, and we've approved the budget, but now you're going to have to put together your business case and ROI for each and every one of these projects, because some departments, have a budget and just go spend it, whereas other people are more miserly like me and only spend it if they need to spend it.
Mhm.
Is there, like, I guess in your prioritization of your budget, do you have like a similar type of ranking or process once you get it approved?
So we all meet as a leadership team and discuss like all the requests together. But throughout the year, every purchase comes through me. Like, I have to sign off on literally every order. So we're looking at the budget all year long and making those adjustments, like, slow down over here, what do you, what are you buying that for? Or, we push back. So it's more in the moment. Because of our size, it's nice that everybody, leadership team-wise knows what the priorities are and where and why, like, what happened, why, like, maybe we're slowing down on purchasing because of this other event that happened, but there's no secret. Like, everybody knows what's going on.
I appreciate that Dr. Shaw has added a huge scope of courses for students without a huge scope of
Correct.
overhead cost. I think that takes, like, working well as a team with the staff at the high school, but also creative thinking, and I commend you for that. I think it really strengthens our building, and they're in-person courses too, which I appreciate. I know the VHS is a great option. I don't think it's the best first option. I do wonder, it's not a secret, I would like books in our schools for every course, for every teacher. I hope that there's line items that are strong enough to make that happen.
I think that's, yes. So I'm going to condense a couple of things. What I heard you say is one of our key priorities is making sure that our teachers have all of the tools that they need to teach, and that our students have all of the tools and resources that they need to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And that feels, and I guess I would maybe put you a little bit on the spot, maybe both, maybe the teachers as well. Like, I would love to hear if you think that there are gaps in those abilities based on what you're just hearing. Does this meet those goals of making sure that teachers have the resources they need to teach and that students have the resources they need to learn? Does this?
I don't know that a teacher in the audience could answer that question right now. I mean, this was not a detailed budget. She, she could tell.
Just want to past experience.
Okay.
If that helps, as far as that, I can't really answer this. This is the first time I've seen that, so. But I can say that I felt a response if I've ever, expressed a need for something. I felt like I was supported in that request, not only by the administrators within my own building, but also at central office, whether it be curriculum, a budget, special ed, whatever it may be. I do feel like the team in place is responsive to what we need in our classrooms, and they do the best that they can, right? Like, there are things that come up, and sometimes when things come up in the middle of the year, there's not so much that you can do about it, but it's a conversation, and that's been my experience for a while.
Sometimes it may be, we can't do this right now, but I'll put it in July, because the budget rolls over and the next budget starts in July. So it's a priority for the next time, if it's something.
That's actually really helpful to hear, Michelle. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd echo that. I'd say, I've seen a lot in the past year or two, especially, like, small steps towards the ultimate goal that people want to see, right? A lot of times it's a compromise, so It's not that everybody's unhappy, you're not always gonna get what you want, but everything is a small step towards progress. And that's important, that adds up quickly.
And Elisa, just to like follow up, you mentioned textbooks. When we buy curriculum, I would say
I don't mean to say textbooks, I do mean materials.
materials, but I'm trying to think of, there's only one that I can think of off the top of my head is the health that we may not have bought textbooks for, but I think we always have at least a classroom set that kids could take a book home if
I'm not-
necessary, but,
I'm not sure that's accurate.
So,
well, moving forward, that is our
I'd
plan.
like to
I
see
can't
a
speak to
regular.
what's happened in the past.
one of the things that we're doing is actually compiling an audit of
For sure,
what
yeah.
do we have. So that, you know, part of it is by course, is it a classroom set, is it an individual, is it online only access? So right now, I don't know that we have one comprehensive place to take a look at that. So we're gonna compile, it's a simple spreadsheet, just put it together by course. So
Yeah.
we're in the process of doing that audit.
And I'd love it to be, obviously there's gotta be some master of the spreadsheet, right? But I'd love the teachers to have, like, be asked directly, like, hey, do you have the book for your course?
That is verbatim the conversation we've had over the past 2 weeks of school at the high school, so.
Awesome.
They're doing the audit.
You know, in a previous life, I worked in a district where there was like, I think it was every 7 years, your, like, social studies would come up, and then math, and then ELA, and it would rotate every 7 years. Everybody got new books every 7 years. Now, that's a pipe dream, and of course, some things always come up. You can't get your book that year, and it gets rolled over. But it does mean that every couple of years, there's a team who's piloting materials to try to choose for when their turn comes up. They've already got an idea of what they want to use. And I know that that happens occasionally in Hull. But I'd like to be more official, and perhaps that becomes a policy. I don't know.
Yeah, so
but-
one other thing that we're trying to do is to get that, whether it's a 7-year cycle, 6, 8, whatever the year, but we're trying to get a cycle established.
Yes.
And so, so that's another thing that's under review, is auditing what is that we have for materials, and then where we are with the review process.
And I don't think we're that far from that. I guess I would push back a little bit. Like,
We're-
we've just adopted and went through that whole process on ELA, and we're very, like, teacher-driven on that we're a participant. And we've already established that next year we start looking at the math curriculum. So I don't feel like we're languishing in old resources. There's not a big dusty pile of books somewhere.
We're not, but I'm not certain that it's spelled out as, okay, now the focus this year is this discipline. So I think just having it sort of articulated out in because the point of that cycle is you hit everything and then you come back to it again.
And it's already going, there's no gap. So you said we already have the ELA and we're now looking at math. Well, the math should have been looked at while we were implementing the ELA that was chosen, so that there's no lag, that there's always budget line item for materials, and which subject matter that is rotates on a regular basis, so that there's no lagging.
The only
And
thing
in
I'm,
fairness, you would never put ELA and math together.
For sure, that's
Right, I
way
mean,
too expensive.
you want them to be separated by a few years, because
Yes.
you'll drive people out to
And-
the ocean
and
if they
also-
have to do both back to back, right? But, so that's where smaller things like health came in, for example. So health is an easier thing to
Yeah.
do in an interim. So there have been some, but I think we should all have access to one handy chart that outlines all that, so.
I mean, yes and no, but like, yes, that sounds great. But I also think that there's a need sometimes for some flexibility of like, oh my gosh, something changes in the world and our social studies curriculum is now no longer relevant. Like, oh, but we don't adopt a new one for 7 more years. So, you know, I don't know. I guess I see I think the most important thing is the spirit of we are up to date. Our students have what they need to learn, and our teachers have what they need to teach, and they have the flexibility of how, you know, the mode of how the content is delivered is maybe up to them. But I don't know. I digress. But
I mean,
so yeah, I guess.
Kyle, don't get me wrong, I do also think that teachers should certainly have the flexibility. I can name a couple of teachers I know create a lot of their own materials, and I think that's great. I think it's great for engagement because the teacher created it, they have passion for it, and I think they should be able to do that. But I do think that if a kid goes home after doing that project that the teacher made, and it's wonderful, I think that if someone else has to step into that classroom, or if a kid goes home and has to do homework, there should be something that they can look at for direct instruction when they're home. And I don't think a tutorial video that my kid pulled up on Google is effective.
I completely agree with you, Lisa, and I think what I'm hearing in that example is that we actually, this is more about a standards-driven instructional delivery than anything, right? I actually don't think, I principal hat, well, it doesn't actually matter, I'm not the principal, so, yep, good luck. No, my principal hat is that I don't think that teachers should have to be creating these things.
I don't think they should have to be. I'm talking about passion. Like, if I really have this super cool pet project about, I don't know, pick a thing. Like, I used to do an archaeology thing. We would go into the volleyball sand pit and we dug up artifacts that we had also created, right? Like, did it fit the curriculum? Sure. Did every teacher have to do that? No. I just liked it, right? So those things should be allowed. But also, when the kid gets home, they should be able to look in the index of their actual textbook and find out, what did we do? What is a site dig?
Well, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I think your example of like something that happens as a one-off that a teacher gets excited about.
Sure.
It has to be grounded in our state instructional standards as a curriculum. So your example of the digging in the sand makes perfect sense. That is something that would be then reinforced. The problem is, the other example you mentioned may not be as connected directly to the state standard. Like, that's the part that we see consistency of instruction, is that I'm not going to debate the merits of like consistency, but I do. I mean, I agree with you. Which what I think you're saying is, all of our kids need to be making sure that they're learning and they have access to the same learning, whether they're going and digging in the sand or they're doing a virtual video, whatever that, I don't know, or they're looking at it in a textbook.
I think too, I want my kids to go home, and if their notes are wrong, I want there to be something that was printed in a professional capacity that they can look at, which is often a textbook, you know? I mean, that's what I want for our kids, and I know that I don't think that that's available right now in every subject. I know it's not. And it should be. So I want to make sure there's line items to support that.
I'll leave that up to the principal.
Well, I would say that you'll hear more coming soon. And we all want the same thing, right? We all want that, so.
And so there is currently an audit being done by the teachers on what we have in inventory today for what course and all of that?
So, I mean, teachers are participating in it, obviously, but yes, we're compiling that info.
Okay. And the game plan is after that to kind of look at the summary and figure out a path forward?
Exactly.
So, Diane, before you step away, can you share with us what are some of the next steps? How does this move forward? And what is helpful from us, or?
So, really, I look for you, like, look through the budget packet. What areas do you want to dive into? Like, we can look at specifics, you know, if you want to look at high school expenses, we can dive into that. If you want to look at utilities or maintenance or any of it. So I'd look for you to give me direction of what, because I plan on talking about budget right up through now, so I look for what you want, what you guys need from me.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So would an email to you
Absolutely.
if there's
Yeah.
a specific question make sense?
Yeah, or like if you want another presentation on specific parts of the budget, we can do that too.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I think then, just to be really clear, if there are specific areas that you would like Diane to come back and present deeper on, please email her and copy the budget subcommittee so that we can be ready for that. Great.
And then in terms of milestones or dates, when is this due to be accepted or approved, or?
So we have the budget here, well, we have the advisory board. We have to go in front of the advisory board in March. It's usually the end of March, the last meeting in March. And then we have a public hearing in April, and then town meeting. I mean,
Oh, this goes to town meeting, okay.
yep.
So we need it to be set though, right? I mean, really what we take to the advisory board
Yes.
is sort of
Is
our,
what,
we've
that'll be on
agreed
the
upon it,
warrant,
yeah.
like, yeah.
So we'll vote to agree to, on what we're gonna put forward then probably mid-March.
The latest, yeah.
Great, thank you.
Well,
Welcome,
just
thank
to
you.
put a pin in that, so we don't have the next February meeting, because that's gonna be the workshop, right? So really, it's that first meeting in March, March 9th, I'm making that date up, but I think I'm close, that we would have to probably get approval to then go forward with. So you really have, I think we're seeking approval at the next meeting of the school committee, which is early March.
Okay, so then all the more important, if there are questions or comments or concerns, let's front load that for Diane.
But
March 9th.
reach out too. If you just have
Goes
like a
right.
quick question, call me, email me, whatever. Happy to talk one-on-one too, so. Whatever you need.
I think March feels so far away,
It
and all of
did.
a sudden I'm doing the math
When
in
you
my
just
head, and
said
I'm
that.
like, I don't
February's
think we have
fine.
all that time.
It's not that far.
Bring on June.
All right.
Great, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you, Diane. So next on the agenda are my draft goals. So I shared those with the school committee. If you looked at the draft that I gave back in August, it has morphed and evolved, if you would. So, but I'm happy to seek feedback from the school committee if there's something on here that you think I'm off base on, or a bigger topic that I'm not paying attention to. I did try to structure it around our mission also, so that we have that as sort of one of the driving points. And in dialogue with Kyle, the aspiration piece was something that was drafted in terms of where we are and what it is that we're trying to do here in the school district. So I did provide that aspiration. And then it's really the 3 goals. All of those involve collaboration with stakeholders. They're not things that I can single-handedly accomplish, if you would. This is about a team and about making sure that we're able to produce. But you'll notice one is around curriculum. The second is around our personnel and making sure that we attract and retain highly skilled people. And the third one is about the professional development. So what is our ongoing program to make sure that our teachers have what they need in order to be successful in the room, in the classroom? And then on the individual side, I intend to complete year 2 of the new superintendent program. Also making sure that I have a meeting schedule that has me available. I think part of achieving the right temperature level in the district has been availability and visibility, and so I want to make sure that I can continue to do that. And then the last piece is the 5-year strategic plan, just having the strategies laid out. You see the piece that I shared with the committee at the start of the year, Diane structured the goals around those 5 elements, right? And so, but we need to refine that. We have more work to do on that. So that's another piece that appears in here.
Thank you, Mike. Turn it to the school committee members for thoughts, questions, comments.
I think they look good, but they of course need to be aligned with the work that we'll be doing together at our next meeting. But it looks good, and I think number 1, the number 2 on the right side, you've already fully accomplished as far as I'm concerned. So well done.
And I hope the school committee recognizes that these are not one-year things. You know, there's an ongoing process piece, and each year there'll be different nuances to how to bring that up a level. So, you know, I'll continue to adjust that as we go forward.
Do you want feedback or no?
Yeah,
Okay.
I absolutely.
And I think they look great, Mike, but I think, you know, as you know, I won't say you're at the pinnacle of your career, but you're way up there in terms of, you know, where you are. For me, the thing that I would like to see is some type of communication plan. I'm not sure if it sits with Mike or it's the subcommittee communication, but communication is such a deep and broad topic. I think this is a great forum for communication, but I don't think it's the be-all and the end-all. I feel like we need to figure out a way to engage better with our community. I feel like there's a lot of good work going on, and even if you have kids in the school system or not, I just feel like there's so much going on that is good, and a lot of the good stuff doesn't necessarily meet an ROI or hit some kind of radar, but it needs to be communicated, and that two-way bilateral communication between telling them what we're doing and actually receiving good feedback. We need to put some kind of plan around that.
I love that, Brennan. I actually wonder if, in some ways, when I look at number 2 and number 3, I think they very much go together, right? Like, we will attract and retain highly skilled and effective personnel, especially if we are collaborating with the stakeholders to make sure professional development, right? Like, those two sort of, I do think could go together. So I could imagine having an additional goal that is something around communication, a communication plan,
Right.
even, but again, like everything, that's something that would take a while to
Right.
really move the needle, but to even just to put something.
And
in
year
place.
one might be simple, but then as we get into the trenches, it might become
Yeah.
more pervasive as go along. I saw on Facebook not too long ago where you met people at the Parrot and gave, you know, a talk on different stuff, and I thought it was ingenious. I thought that's a great way of meeting people. I thought, like, that's really cool. I'm not saying do that, but, you know, just
We did
different
that
ways
last
for us
year.
to connect with the community. You know, you might be involved in sports or kids in schools, but there's so many different types of people out in our community that might walk up to you with questions. I mean, us or anybody, you know. and-
Yeah.
I will say, and I want to give props to Maggie for this, because we've kind of changed our whole communication flow over the last year. You know, so now it's much more social media driven. And so we're not doing the press releases that head on off. It's really more of the daily capture and getting that information pumped out. And so newsletters at the high school, athletic newsletters. The Jacob School has always had a very active journal, but just trying to capitalize on all of that to make sure that we're getting out there. But now it's like we have to grow our audience there.
Right.
And make sure that people are grabbing. Although I've noticed, like, the Hull Times is picking up on many of those things and is sharing it out on social media too. So, but I'm not sure, to your point, that we have a great feedback loop
Right.
through that
That's
also.
what concerns me the
Right.
most. And it's not easy. I'll be honest. I get dinged on it all the time in corporate, and you're like, oh, we'll have meetings, we do this, when you just have to keep on doing it and trying to pull them in. So.
Are you looking for us to approve these goals tonight?
Well,
or-
if the school committee would like to approve them, I mean, the next opportunity is in March, so I do
Yeah.
feel like, and then I think as we work on the strategic plan piece, I think that's where that communication
Oh.
piece can pop up,
Yep.
and then more targeted goal can occur in the future, because we're doing stuff that's not necessarily reflected here.
Yeah, this is really only one small slice of your overall work, but I do think, I really appreciate the aspiration. I mean, I know this is something we talked about, but I feel like knowing what you're pushing towards, like what these things are in service of, feels inspiring, and I appreciate that, so. Okay, well, is there further discussion? Are we comfortable calling for a vote of approval of these goals so that we can start measuring them, or should we wait until?
I'd like more time, just to ponder it a bit.
Okay.
If that's okay.
And I think to Eliza's point, next week, or next session in 2 weeks,
March 9th.
that's maybe the time that we can really connect it to the strategic planning conversation.
Well, exactly, and when Sean is here, it allows us to see where all these pieces fit together, so all the puzzle comes together, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think overall it sounds like initial feedback from me, I don't want to speak for everyone, but my initial feedback is this is great. I love the suggestion about communication. Yeah. Anything else you want to share with Mike? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come back to the agenda. All right, so next is just a discussion about Sean's visit. And I think it's really just from the school committee, what do you need to be successful in that dialogue? I know since we last met, everybody now has done charting the course, right? So that's a new space that we've arrived in, and now Sean will come in to work with us on where we are with the goals.
I think maybe this is just what do we need? I'm thinking so much of the conversation with Sean really is helping to identify what the process is that we go about about building that strategic plan. Who is involved in which components? Because I definitely feel like I want to make sure that it's very clear that the school committee is in no way trying to overstep in the creation of the actual strategic plan, but rather understanding our role in the high level, like this is the direction the district is going, and then how we can get out of the way after that feels really important. So I just want to name that I'm excited for the feedback on that, because we have no intention of being micromanagers or getting involved in things that we have no business being involved in, that there are professionals for.
And so this is gonna be, the workshop's gonna be the hour before the meeting, or?
Instead of.
It's instead
Will
of.
be the meeting.
Was
Yeah,
the
so-
time changed?
In the library, 5 o'clock in the Jacob School Library.
Thank you.
In 2 weeks.
February 23rd.
Have you heard back from Sean about?
I have not, and
Okay.
so I'm going to try to fix that tomorrow.
Are there other things we want to get out of that time, or does that sound right?
How long will the meeting be? How much time do we have with him?
I mean, he's here for the night, right? So he's not going somewhere else. He doesn't have another meeting. He did say he'd prefer to start earlier.
Yeah.
Lives not too far from here, so
But we don't have like a stop in an hour or something like that.
there's
Okay.
not a hard stop time.
Okay, thank you.
We will look, you guys, I guess I'll just make the bold go a little further, that when we plan on getting a draft agenda out, hopefully this week, for your feedback, and then we can be better prepared for the 23rd that way. If we've heard from Sean and can do that.
So, just so I'm clear, so you're looking for the school committee to put together agenda items for Sean to help us kind of hone in on what the strategic planning is?
No, I'm saying that we will put together an agenda. Mike, this the proverbial we.
Okay.
We'll put together an agenda, and I'll take a review of it. The two of us will look at it and put an agenda together to send to you this week for your review.
Okay, thank you.
I think the question for Sean is if there are things that you're really curious about, like how do all these goals intersect? You know, what are the layers? How do you go about establishing this strategic plan that really will guide the district? So anything to like fine tune this work that we could ask him in advance so that he's prepared to present on it.
Okay.
Because he can either come and respond like off the cuff, or he can come prepared to say, a district that just went through this is the following, and take a look here on this website. You know, he can guide us to the way all of these different goals sort of intersect and are aligned.
Okay.
So it's really, if you have that question, send it our way and we'll set it up.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, and then my last topic tonight is on the school safety. So that is a link to a pamphlet that has been designed and has been vetted through the Emergency Management Committee. So remember, that consists of police and fire and school officials. The concept is that this is the pamphlet that would be given to parents, because we use terminology in the schools when it comes to school safety that parents may not be familiar with. So this is an effort to say, if you hear about an active threat, this is what that means. And the concept of this, you know, I said put it in the glove box. Maggie said it's a glove compartment. That led to a whole dialogue.
Vernacular.
But and actually, who keeps gloves in there? But that's another story, right?
This time of year, yes.
So the concept is that parents have something, so that if we were in an emergency situation, they would have some sort of resource that they could access. So actually, Lily had reviewed this and gave me quite a bit of feedback that we took into consideration in devising this. So,
Awesome.
so the idea is that after the break, a hard copy will go home with every child for parents to be able to have this, again, hopefully to never use or have to look at, but if there is something going on, they have access to this so that they can understand what we're doing.
Excellent. Appreciate the forethought.
And then one other quick thing is the principals, athletic director, SRO, and I did a training today with the FBI, again, relative to responses. So the FBI it was an online webinar, but it allowed our team, we all sat in the conference room, so we were able to interact and debrief what we were hearing about as we did that training. So we do continue to try to stay on the forefront of concerns. This wasn't anything specific to Hull, just to be clear. It was overall training, but the training did cite several examples from across the nation in the last month. So these were, you know, actual scenarios and things that school leaders need to be aware of. So we were spending that time today together. All right.
Questions, comments? Nope, moving forward? Okay. Great, thank you, Dr. Jetty. Lots going on. Very much appreciate the updates. Okay, so school committee policy issues. We need to take a look at, what are we doing here? Community use of schools facilities. So these are the KF through E1, KF through E-E2, and KF-RI?
R1.
And is this an initial read, or what are we doing with these?
Well, what we'd like to do on these is to not do the 3 readings and just go right to adoption, because the only real changes in these are changing from athletic director to facilities department, and changing he-she to their, so they're not real meat of it.
Okay, so no content changes, just purely.
Correct.
Edits and.
For the case.
For the case,
For the case. Okay. Okay. Are we comfortable with that? Okay, is there a question or discussion?
I reviewed them. It's literally pronouns and things like that that were
Okay.
changed, so it's great.
Great. So is there a motion to approve them?
Guess
These
that is my
changes?
motion.
Great. Eliza has made a motion to approve the Ks. And Brendan has seconded. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right, we're cruising. Old business items, nope.
Nope, there's one other policy.
Come on. Which one?
JEB on entrance
JEB.
age. And
Oh,
just,
gotcha.
if I may just clarify this, because there is a little bit more
Okay.
substance.
Yeah.
So this policy currently just says that a child has to be 5 before the first day of school, which is kind of a moving target. It's in August, but depending on where that ends up falling. This puts a hard date to say they have to be 5 on or before September 1st. And if you saw the draft over the weekend, it actually created, September 1st was sort of the no man's, because it said before September 1st, and it said after September 1st, so we clarified it. It now says on or before September 1st. If you are 5, you can come to kindergarten. So it just gives a date definite. And if you look at other districts in our area, they all have a date definite. So it feels better than a moving target of the first day.
Is their date definite also, September 1st?
So moves around a little bit. Most of them have either August 31st or September 1st. We just thought September 1st was the better date to use. So we're recommending adoption of this policy, and because we're in the middle of kindergarten enrollment, we would like that to be approved tonight. It'll just tighten that up and give us a definite date.
So that would be in effect for the upcoming school year?
Correct. So as they're doing enrollment, they'll know exactly who's eligible.
Make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
Great. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? None. All right, approved. Sorry, I didn't see it there. Almost skipped right over the J's. Fantastic. Okay, old business items, subcommittees. I've already shared that the budget subcommittee did come together in order to keep movement happening on the budget. I feel like we've discussed that. Any other subcommittee updates I should be aware of? Acceptance of donations. This is very exciting. We have a $3,600 donation from an anonymous donor for the Nature's Classroom, which just is so incredibly generous and just another example of how our community is supportive of the wonderful work that our teachers do. So I love that. We do need to vote to accept those donations, that donation though. Is there any discussion or concern about that?
I think it's wonderful and generous.
Yeah, it's fantastic whoever did that.
Fantastic, yeah.
And so does that reduce the fee for all of the students? Is that how that works, or?
I don't know.
I believe you paid off the balance of what they owe, or, I'll get back to you.
That's okay.
It might have been, the person asked what we owed. I don't know if that's buses or the actual whole trip.
Okay,
I'll look into that tomorrow.
okay, thank you.
I didn't
So it reduces
accept
the
it.
amount that the students would be responsible for, is that, or no?
I'll get back.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna.
Yeah.
Incredibly generous. So, is there a motion to accept the donate, that incredibly donate? Oh my gosh,
I'll
my
make the motion.
brain. Thank you, Brendan. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Eliza. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? None. Fantastic. And finally, superintendent correspondence. Do you want to share what is in our packet?
Yeah, so this is a letter that we received that ties back to the conversation earlier. So, so we were awarded the pre-planning funding for the early college planning grant. So this is tied to the work with Quincy College. It's a $25,000 grant that we were able to receive, and so it allows Principal Shaw to work with the business folks going forward and to figure out how it is that we want to implement that grant. So, so that's good news.
That's
And,
fantastic, yeah.
Yeah. So the MyCap, all that stuff will sort of come together relative to this.
And just to name, I mean, that's a nod from the state that we are doing good things and that they believe in the direction that we're heading. So I appreciate that. Any other discussion about that? I know, that scared me too.
I'm literally freezing and there's a window open.
I didn't realize the window was open.
Did we open that tonight?
No.
It's just been there?
May I be excused to close the window?
You may.
That'll be your meeting notes.
Oh my gosh. And then it just all of a sudden started moving. So maybe it just opened.
No, it's been open.
Oh, it has.
It's been open the whole time.
It's freezing.
Is that what it
Oh, I
is?
suppose I'm wearing this inside.
Is it even?
Yeah.
I mean, I stood up there.
Thank you, Elisa.
I noticed it when they were giving the boat
just a school committee
presentation,
member.
because I'm like, I am so cold right now, and then it was just.
I assumed it was hot over in that corner and somebody opened it because I was like, why is that open? But anyway.
Do we need to
good.
vote to accept the grant from the state, or is that just a done deal? No.
Do not.
Okay.
Well, I vote to approve it.
Me too.
Great.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We voted to approve it.
All right.
Fantastic. We have been monitoring the warrants. Are there warrants that are being signed tonight? Fantastic. Thank you. And any new business from the school committee?
I need to put them on. Sorry, say that again.
Brendan?
Trying to
I
trying
asked
to
him a
multitask failed.
Any new business from the school committee? That's all.
I have two things that I'd like to raise, and one that drives me crazy every time, and it's probably been since elementary school, is the scheduling of parent-teacher meetings. Every time, without fail, we miss it. Like my wife said to me this time, just gone, oh, they're here. And we went the day after, and boom, there's like 2 slots open, but
Yeah.
they're in totally different times. And I just feel like, I can't remember if they do the same at the elementary, but I feel like we could do a lot better with the process of figuring out how to schedule parents in to meet teachers. We never seem to jive with it. We always seem to be the special case of meeting teachers on our own. And we're pretty connected. So that's my first opportunity area. And the second is the inner courtyard within the high school, I think is absolutely beautiful. And I know the kids don't take breaks outside like they do in the elementary school, which I'm shocked at. Because when I was growing up and in high school, you got out at 20 minutes at 11, an hour, 55 minutes for lunch, and then another 10, 15 minutes at 2 or 3 o'clock. I would like us to try and figure out a plan, and I'm just going to say it here and then we'll come back with a plan another day, but I would like us to figure out a plan of kids getting outside more. Maybe not in the freezing cold weather like we are having right now, but just to air their brain and stretch their legs. I think it's important for kids to get out a few times during the day to do that. Whether we incorporate that with a garden or something outside, I think there's something we should look into. I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'm just airing my.
There's that green room, like next to it, so it's all like cleaned up in there.
Again?
So they're using, I believe that they're using like the room, on the inside for plants, the greenhouse for plants and all that stuff too, so.
But I'm talking about kids getting outside.
No, I know, but I'm just saying they're using that as well.
Mhm.
We didn't use it back in my day in high school either.
Back in my day, we went outside every chance we got.
Same. So I think it's important. But anyhow.
I really like that idea. And they can shoo out the random goose that gets trapped in there too.
Might
Random
not
what?
end well.
Might be time to go home.
It might be urban legend, but I heard that like animals occasionally get trapped and they can't get enough.
Oh.
I don't know. If it's true, I have no idea.
Okay. Any other
But how fun would
correspondence?
it be to go out on your lunch break and
Chase a
stumble
goose.
across a goose?
Oh, goose. That's what you said. Okay, got it. That would make Facebook for sure. Okay. Any other correspondence to or comments from school committee members? I think we just heard a couple good ones. And then, if none, it's 8:34. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Courtney. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Brendan. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
And that's unanimous. Good night.
2 minutes.